4 out of 10, you should still be using your looks to your advantage. Let me tell you what I mean. So I'm a personal stylist and I have been for 8 years. Okay. Here's the thing. Whether you are starting off, like when you wake up in the morning at a 10, a 8, a 6, a 4, a 3, whatever you're starting at as your base, you should be bumped up by the time you step out the door. The problem is I really think that people they're really lost when it comes to how to look better and how looking better affects everything. It does not matter if you're a man or a woman, it affects everything. Now, when you're a man and you're a woman, looking better is made up of different categories, and we can get into that later, but you have control over a lot of them. For men, smelling amazing, looking clean, knowing how to dress will almost take you like 4, 5, 6 if you're good about it, notches up. So let's say you're a man and on day to day, you're a 4. You're a 4. You're a little bit below average. If you were to literally work out 3 times a week, connect with someone who's going to help you get your style together, throw out the dusty clothes I've seen in these closets, get a scent, get a couple of scents that are amazing, and change your hair and beard game, you shot up. But unfortunately, most people think that you have to be born with it or go get surgery. Not the case. Same thing with women. With women, you also can learn how to do your makeup. Learn what hairstyles actually accent you. Instead of choosing the hairstyle that you like to look at, that is your favorite, pick things that like you back. That is y'all's problem. And see, I'm about to go on a rant. One of my clients who I love, who I've been working with for years, she's like, Carla, like sometimes like you're a little bit mean. And here's the thing. I always blame it on being from Boston. I'm not trying to be mean. I want to be blunt and direct because blunt and direct is what gets impact. I'm not going to like call anybody a whale. I'm not going to be evil about it. But I'm going to say, no, you look better with dark hair. Even if you just changed your hair to a light blonde. I'm going to say, yeah, you know, because they're going to ask me. I get paid for this. So unsolicited opinions, let's not do it. But I get asked, Carla, should I wear my hair straight or curly for this shoot that's coming up? I would literally look at them dead in their eye and be like, straight. There's nothing else to think about. That's it. Because I want you to win. Because I want you to find love. I want you to be more confident. I want you to make more money. And all of my clients have some kind of impact to looking good when you listen. That's all I'm saying. You're in control of looking better.
I grew up a very unattractive person. Boys did not look at me. Boys don't even look at me now.
So I want to touch on this video, you guys. This popped up on my For You page, and I just wanted to talk about it. So this is something that I used to think when I was younger, right? I'm 30 years old. She's 21. She stated in the video that because of how she's felt her entire life, she's been made to feel ugly, and she's never felt attractive because guys never talk to her. And even now she feels like guys never talk to her. Keep in mind, I believe she said that she was 21 years old. I've grown up in a predominantly white suburb my entire life, and being the darker skinned black girl in the suburbs, you're never told that you're pretty. In fact, you are violently told that you're ugly all the time. You're unattractive. You're undesirable. Nobody likes you. There is nothing about you that is unattractive. It's literally your surroundings and where you are. When I left Tampa and I decided to move to Boca, and I lived in Boca for 3 years, the way that my self-esteem changed and the way that men reacted to me down there versus here was completely different. Sometimes I think about how shot my self-esteem would have been had I never left home. Like, I went from being in a predominantly white place here in Tampa where I live to being in a predominantly black place, always in Broward County all the time. Like, it was just a world's difference. So for her and anyone else watching who feels that way, you're not ugly. You just have to change your surroundings, especially when it comes to men. And also, you're not ugly. You just have to change up your style. You just have to try different things that work for you. Experiment with the way you look. Experiment with your hair, with your makeup, with your wardrobe, with your clothing, all of that. I'm telling y'all, changing my surroundings made a world of difference for my self-esteem in the long run. That's why at 30 years old, I'm happy. Very happy.
If you're a woman and you know that you are ugly or conventionally unattractive, but you have access to the internet, you're dumb. Stop complaining about being conventionally unattractive. There are so many free ways for you to fix it. There are tutorials for hair, for makeup, for fashion, for skincare, all over the internet for free 99, and you're sitting here complaining. There are DIYs that you can do with things that are already in your house to fix yourself, but you're sitting here complaining. And you know what the problem is? A lot of women expect the world and society and men to love them for who they are. And I'm so sorry, sweetie. No, that's not gonna happen. That's never going to happen. You are never going to be loved for who you are when you are a woman, okay? Nobody cares about who you are. People care about how you make them look when you're standing next to them. People care about what you can do for them. Men care about having an attractive woman on their arm and sleeping with somebody who is physically attractive. You will never be loved for who you are. That's some elementary child stuff. That's some stuff that your mom tells you at night before she kisses you goodnight and wraps you up, okay? That's not reality. You will never be loved for who you are. I would never be loved for who I am. Just for who I am and what's on the inside. I would never be loved for that. But a lot of women are seeking this, and this is just not the truth. And if you think you're being loved for who you are and not because of your looks, blah, 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 okay? It's because 9 times out of 10, if you are not conventionally attractive and you're aware of this, you are probably less to deal with and you're not as expensive as other women. And that's just what it is. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that you should pattern a man and try to make yourself look better to attract more men. That's not what I'm saying, please. But I'm just saying in general, it just is what it is. When you are considered to be an unattractive person, when people don't like the way that you look, they're going to treat you like it. You're going to get bullied by women, and men will literally hate your guts for it. And society will hate your guts for being unattractive. And that just is what it is. If you're somebody who wants to change that, you have the option to change it. If you don't want to change that and you like the way you look, then that's great and fine and dandy for you. But if you don't like the way you look and you're tired of being mistreated, ma'am, it's time to head on over to YouTube. It's time to take a piece of that paycheck, okay? And it's time to go in Sephora and go ham. They got wigs on Temu, ma'am.
I saw another creator talking about ugly privilege, and I completely agree with what she was saying, and I believe she got it from somebody else as well. And I want to talk about my ugly privilege. Now, I don't think that I'm ugly. That's just the word that they used in the thing. I think that I'm very pretty, but they're referring to like men harassing them in public. I don't have that. I definitely have that ugly privilege when it comes to that, because I don't have men harassing me in public. The most that I've ever gotten that's like kind of close to that is maybe when I was at work and this guy was trying to flirt with me, but he was extremely drunk. I think he could have flirted with a pole and he wouldn't have even noticed the difference, to be honest with you. But I've definitely not just been like harassed in public, like by random men on the street or something like that. Honestly, people have, like, guys have said that I'm attractive in real life. But the most that they ever do is say like, oh, can I get your number? And I say, no, I have a boyfriend. And then they leave like immediately. Like they do not stick around at all. And that's only happened twice. That happened in high school. That wasn't like, it wasn't, you know, it hasn't happened to me since. And yeah. Really the only people in person that call me pretty are women and children. And that's really it, I'd say. And I'm very happy with this ugly privilege because like a lot of people have already said with this topic, I like being able to just go places and not fear for my life, even though I fear for my life every day. But still, like, you know, I don't have to worry. Like, it's not from experience, you know what I'm saying? So I'd say there's definitely some perks about being like not the huge like beauty standard. Like I think that I'm somebody's beauty standard, but I don't think I'm like the huge. I think like the main beauty standard would probably be like blondes, I'm guessing. I don't really know, but yeah, or maybe it's the environment that you're in. I'm not sure.
So I think there's like a really common misconception amongst hierarchy when it comes to appearance, physical appearance, when it comes to women. And this all comes down to beauty standards. A lot of women think that if they don't fit the beauty standard that has been set by men, that they will have a hard time attracting a man or attracting a quote-unquote provider man. Most women grossly underestimate the fact that men are attracted to large majority of women. I even did a video about this that says men have no standards. using the data from OkCupid, men believe that like 85% of women are actually attractive. Men are very fickle. Men are very superficial. And the one thing that most men care about is sleeping with you. So if they deem you worthy enough to sleep with, then you're not ugly. For most men, an ugly woman is going to be a woman who is deformed. She's going to be grossly obese and overweight. She gonna be bad-bodied and she gonna be deformed. That doesn't apply to most people. The difference between the perceived pretty girl and the perceived ugly girl is that the pretty girl has enough knowledge to make her quote-unquote ugliness or features that she finds ugly not to be a problem. Pretty girls know their skin undertone. They know if they have oily skin, combination skin, dry skin. They know if they have an apple shape, pear shape, tree trunk body shape, and they know exactly how to dress in order to hide their flaws and to accentuate parts of their body. Pretty girls have a high level of discipline. They are on top of their diet. They are on top of their fitness routine. They do things like pedicures, manicures. Even if they don't get long nails, they at least get a little bit of something to upkeep their beauty. Pretty women know color theory, okay? Pretty women know what clothes to pick that's gonna, make them look good. Pretty women know what color hair to pick so that way it will pop out with their features. Pretty women know how to wear their eyeshadow if they have a hooded eye or if they have almond eyes. Pretty women know their pheromones and their fragrance chemistry so they understand what fragrance to pick out that's going to make them smell the best. Pretty women know their skin undertone so they know what lipstick to buy, what eyeshadow colors to use. Pretty women use accessories like watches and anklets and bracelets and earrings and stuff like that with certain outfits to accentuate certain aspects of them that they deem as beautiful. Pretty women do bubble baths, they do face masks, they do hair masks. I mean, there's so much that goes into being pretty. So many women think that quote-unquote pretty women just roll out of bed and they're naturally pretty. Pretty women take discipline. So if a woman is thinking that she's ugly, I can guarantee you it's about a 90% chance that she's not ugly. In most cases, the woman who thinks that she's ugly is not doing enough to become pretty. Being pretty is an act. What tools are you going to use? What steps are you going to take to increase your beauty? There are women out there who were beautiful their whole life and they had a traumatic experience where their beauty was an issue and now they no longer care about being pretty because they're actually traumatized from being pretty. So now they have shelled themselves up. They wear baggy clothes. They don't wear makeup. They put their hair in a bun because they are afraid of the responsibilities that come along with being pretty. It's going to sound super cliche, but being pretty is an act of being. What acts are you taking daily, weekly, monthly to maintain your beauty? Me drinking collagen first thing in the morning daily, that is an act of me practicing how to improve my beauty. Collagen will make my skin softer. It will make it supple. It will decrease my aging. At night, I use tretinoin, which is a retinol. I use that on my skin to reduce wrinkles, to help the texture of my skin be smoother. When I go to sleep, I use a lip mask. And I use an exfoliant for my lips in the morning. That way, my lips are moisturized. They look good. I get so many comments on here about my lips whenever I wear lip gloss or lipstick or things like that. Being pretty and being beautiful is an investment. The only difference between a pretty girl and an ugly girl is that typically the ugly girl is not investing in her beauty.
Before you have your glow up, please watch this video. Before you lose the weight, before you get the degree, before you start making the money, before you drastically change your life, please understand these things. You will see this new change in behavior from other people, but please do not equate that interest and that admiration as genuine care for you as an individual. Most of the people who will be coming around you after you complete that process will want to do one of three things. They'll either want to just experience the benefits of whatever you've just accomplished. They'll want to try to control you as some sort of ego boost, or 3, they'll want to unpack who you are behind the shell and see what type of individual you are and what your character actually is. It might feel nice. You might get your ego stroked a little bit, but please understand, having all of these people around you now is not always a good thing.
I hate to break it to y'all, but whether you are pretty or ugly in this world, it decides how you are treated. I've spoken about this before and I'm gonna do it again because it's like some people don't understand that being considered ugly or like fat and so on really, really, really decides whether or not you're treated good or bad in a lot of situations. Why is the world built like this? I couldn't freaking tell you who decided that how you look depends on who gets treated like asshole and who doesn't, and who decided who looks bad enough to get treated like asshole and who doesn't. But what I can tell you is pretty privilege and being treated badly based on your weight and looks definitely exists. I'm tired of people trying to act like it's not a thing, because it is. And not only is it beauty standards that decide this, let me tell you something right now, gender too. Different genders, I've noticed, find things prettier. That's why I believe guy pretty and girl pretty is a thing, because I 100% believe that guys find things pretty differently compared to how girls find things pretty, if that makes sense. I don't know why I explain it like that. How I hear my guy friends talk about women is completely different from how I hear girls talk about women. Completely different. And of course, I'm not saying all guys, this is my opinion from my personal experience, but like what I've noticed is a lot of guys just more go for a more conventional look and more appreciate a conventional look than women do. Then let's not even talk about the way society treats overweight females and females that are considered ugly or both, and tall females, any females that aren't considered feminine in any type of way. Like, let's talk about how tall the girls are considered more masculine and so on, and spoken about like they're freaking masculine linebackers or something. And it's just not the case. You're as feminine and as masculine as you feel like being, okay, whether you're short or tall. And it's just so annoying how that is applied to women just because of their height or size. I'm a strong, firm believer in how you look affecting your daily life. And if you're considered ugly, apparently, ugly, I don't know who decides that, but yeah, sure, it can affect things like job opportunities, friendships, relationships, or self-confidence, of course, genuine opportunities, not even just like business opportunities, just opportunities in general, to try new things, to meet new people and so on. It can really affect so many things. How they depict that one pretty girl in like all the movies and so on, like she goes everywhere, all the guys are just on her feet, like, I'll buy this for you, I'll do this for you. Of course, it's over-exaggerated, but it's also not a lie. I just find it weird how beauty and looks means so much in this society, and if you don't fit a certain standard, you get treated like asshole. By the way, a standard that some random man or woman on a Tuesday sat down and said, I don't like that. That's ugly. I don't want that, but that. Oh wow, I want me some of that. But also, this is just my opinion and what I know from my own experience. So, you know. Okay, bye.
So, can we talk about how much being considered ugly when you're younger has an impact on how you date when you're older? When you grow up being conventionally unattractive, whether you're overweight or you're a person of color in predominantly white spaces, or you just have features that don't fit the European beauty standards, it's so hard. It's hard seeing all of your conventionally attractive friends have boyfriends in middle school and high school, but no one's checking for you because you're not pretty. I personally never had any romantic experiences until college. That was when I had my first boyfriend, my first kiss, first everything, and it was literally one of the worst experiences of my life. This guy was literally so terrible to me. Not only was he ignorant and racist, but he was just a bad boyfriend. He didn't know how to treat a woman, and I settled for it because I had never had anyone express interest in me before him. And despite him being a bad boyfriend, I stayed with him until he broke up with me. And at that point, I then proceeded to basically beg for him back because I literally did not think there would ever be anyone else out there that would love me the way he did. And I was really depressed for a long time because I didn't know my worth, and I was putting all of my worth into male validation. And looking back, I am really grateful for that breakup because it allowed me to realize a valuable lesson in self-worth. Despite only ever having one man interested in me in my entire life at this point, I was okay with it because I was able to learn through that relationship that I don't need a man for validation. I don't need anyone to basically determine my value. So while I might not have had a million men knocking down my door to date me when I was younger, I'm okay with it because I learned a valuable lesson that a lot of girls don't learn until they're way older and have experienced a lot more life. So I say all this to say, if you are a young woman who's struggling with self-confidence because, you might not be as conventionally attractive as the girls around you, just know that your time will come and know that you don't need a man for validation. Be confident, be yourself, and the right person will find you.
Get ready with me while I tell you how I was the ugly friend for years and I didn't even know. My friend and I like would always hang out all the time. Like, and it was cool. Like my friends were pretty. Like obviously, I don't know. I just knew really pretty girls and I used to hang out with them all the time. Then I recently found out this information I'm telling you like is very brand new information to me as well. So what it was that my friend posted one of my pictures recently and they were like, and the guy was like, oh wow, is this that your friend? She's now fine. Oh. So she told me this thing and she was like, that people are like hyping my P code. They were like that, oh, that's one of her friends was like, oh, that I'm now fine. Oh. She now told me somebody else was like, who is this girl? Like, bear in mind, me and this babe, we hang out if you know her, you know me. If you know me, you know her, that sort of thing. So it's like for people to still be shocked and surprised, then they're posting my picture. It was not computing to me. I was like, okay, like I didn't take it as anything. But then, true to myself, at the end of the day, as an overthinker, I started just thinking about it like, this one, everybody's like, you are now fine. Were you ugly before? Were you ugly before? I don't know how to explain it, but like that was what came to my mind. Like, oh my god, these people must have probably thought that I was not fine before. Then I was still thinking it too. My friend now confirmed it for me. I was like, they must have thought I was ugly. And then she now told me how like one of the guys there was like, oh, this your ugly friend die, that kind of thing. You people, when I tell you that, my mind was blown. I was like, I didn't say anything because it's not a big deal, whatever. But like now I'm just thinking about it and I'm like, wow, people really used to think I was ugly. The point of this conversation is that I didn't know that people used to think I was not pretty or I was not fine. And quite frankly, I'm so thankful that I did not know. Because imagine if I knew. How would I have grown up? How would I have been operating? Like, God forbid, though. The point of this conversation is that, like, what people think of you truly doesn't matter. Is what you think about yourself. Because see how my ignorance has even saved me. And, like, I can just imagine, like, how many times maybe those people would have been, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I can just imagine how many times they'll probably be seeing me that year and I'll be dressing up and feeling like a gorgeous, gorgeous girl because I truly used to feel gorgeous and I'm gorgeous. I still feel gorgeous, whatever. But, like, that year, like, I used to slay. I used to think that, oh, I'm dressing up, I'm looking nice, I'll do my makeup. I even learned how to do eyebrows back in the day. So nobody could tell me anything. So to me now, it's really crazy. But it just further cements like the thing that I want to say in this video, which is that what people think about you is not your problem. It's what you think about yourself that is the most important thing. And if you're operating on like the high energy of what you think about yourself, there's nothing anybody saying that's going to affect you. They can think it in their minds, but it's not affecting you. That's all. Like, it was just a very wild discovery for me. Okay, bye. Thank you guys for hanging out with me.
Every time one of my posts blows up and I start getting just like a bunch of comments about like how ugly I am, I always have people in the comments defending me, which, sweet, thank you. But also, like, if someone thinks I'm ugly, they think I'm ugly. Like, you saying I'm hot is not really gonna change that, you know what I mean? And I've also had people ask me why I don't clap back, and it's like, dude, why the fuck? Like, why should I care, genuinely? Like, I don't need to be seen as attractive by the entire population or prove that I'm attractive to the entire population to feel good about myself. I think I'm hot. I know there's some people who agree with that. I know there's some people who disagree with that. I don't think it really impacts my life in any way other than who is willing to sleep with me. So